Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
And a very good evening to you and a very warm welcome to Newsline Prime. Today we are going to be talking to the de facto regulator, the comptroller of perhaps Sri Lanka's best known brand, Ceylon tea. And right here in the studio with us is the chairman of the Sri Lanka Tea Board, and he's here with us in the studio, Mr. Lucille Wijewardena. Good morning to you, good evening to you, and thank you for being on the program. We also have a program in the morning, by the way, and it's called Newsline. This is Newsline Prime. Now then, Mr. Wijewardena, I just want to ask you, it is perhaps quite easily the most endearing brand, Ceylon tea, that this country has produced, and for years and years it's globally well known. Everyone knows Ceylon tea, even if they don't know where Sri Lanka is, they know Ceylon tea. How comfortable are you with the state of affairs at the moment? Ceylon tea, I think it's exporting around 300 million kilos of tea in all sorts of forms. Are you comfortable with that sort of thing? Are you comfortable with the are you comfortable with that output?
Yes, if you ask the output, 300 million kilos, we have been doing plus or minus 300 million, generally plus, once it went to 340 million.
Right.
But I think that's not too important. I think as long as we do a good quality 300 million, even that is okay.
What do you mean by quality? Do you mean money-wise?
No, the product-wise. The product-wise,
right.
This 300 million should be of the highest quality. Because we go as a premium tea.
Okay.
Because we get the highest price in any
market.
Any market.
Okay.
By far.
Okay.
So we have to maintain that premiumness.
Right.
So we should do everything to maintain that premium.
I see. It's something that I was going to ask you later on, but it's appropriate now, I think, and that is this. So Ceylon tea is marketed as a premium tea, and you want to maintain its premiumness. Is that one of the main considerations for not opening up the market to blending, importing of cheaper teas and then blending it here and then exporting it?
Yeah, it's a question that has been going on for some time.
Yes, it's a debate, isn't it?
It's a debate, but there are two schools of thought, obviously, for and against.
Yeah.
But more than the debate, what's important are the facts behind the whole thing.
Right.
So, as a tea board representative, I had to say both sides of the coin.
Indeed, yeah.
So, on one side, the country, if we can export about 2 billion worth of additional 2 billion worth of tea, import and export.
Right. 2 billion rupees worth.
$2 billion.
Dollars.
At the moment we do $1.5 billion.
How many?
$1.5 billion. So it might be a good thing when you look at it.
So if you allowed blending, it would go up to how much?
No, say assuming that the blending operation has a turnover of $2 billion.
Okay.
Right. So that it will be good, but there's a flip side to that.
Right. And which is?
Which is we have to import all the teas to start with to that place.
Right.
Then we have to import all the packing material.
Right.
All the packing material, other than a few printing processes.
Yeah.
Then we have to import all the machinery, very high-end machinery, which is very expensive.
Right.
And so the imported component will be very high.
Right.
And the labor requirement is also very low because it's fully automated. So our net gain to the country will be around 10%.
Right.
So that is $200 million extra.
Right.
So that is that side of the story.
Right.
On the other side, there's a story where we have over 2 to 3 million people of the country who's dependent directly on the tea industry. At least 2 million.
Minimum 2 million.
Minimum 2 million.
Right. Okay.
About 1 million households.
Right.
So it's more than 3 million really.
Indeed.
So if you upset this fragile balance that they are having, because if you import teas, if in case it
Affects
the price, then you are playing with 2 million citizens of this country. Because they are, at the moment, they are quite independent citizens who are little entrepreneurs. Now they are not rich people, but they live with dignity. They don't ask the taxpayers money.
Yeah.
They have a little 1 acre or 2 acre.
So these are the small holdings.
Small holders.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about upsetting the apple cart there.
Right. So this is the pros and cons of of that. But what other issues are you facing, the industry as a whole then?
You know, the industry has 3 main stakeholders or 3 main activities.
Right.
One is where you grow tea.
Yeah.
Plantation, tea farmers.
Yeah.
So it's done by smallholders. About 75% of the tea is done by smallholders. The rest is done by what you call RPCs, regional plantation companies. So that's done by them. Then you get the manufacturers, tea factory owners.
The factory owners.
So there are about 700 factories.
Is that about too much or too little?
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much for the 300 million kilos that we're exporting.
That's right.
Plus, how many million kilos is there for local? How much is a local?
Local consumption is really, it's not the correct figure that we get, because we get 15% of refused, so-called refused tea.
Also in the market.
Also in the market, which is quite good really. When you say refused, people think it's kasala. In Sinhala, it's called kasala, which is a totally wrong nomenclature.
Okay.
It's perfectly good tea, which is going into what you call the third box of the color separator.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It has a little more stems.
Right.
It's perfectly fine.
But it's perfectly
Clean.
Clean. And it's not bad for you health-wise.
No. It's really, it has more strength in that tea.
Oh, so this is the one that we folks like. Tea, strong.
Strong, yeah, strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how much you think? Well, how many million kilos?
Probably 10 million kilos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the export market's 30 times that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a lot.
Yeah, that makes the industry a completely export-oriented industry.
Right. And we are bringing in about $1.5 billion worth of exchange back in the country every year on average.
Correct, and mostly net.
Net. Okay. And your greatest success story has been China, hasn't it?
Yes. Now, that's a recent story, because China was a green tea market.
Right.
They drank green tea, and they had the best of green tea.
Yeah.
So now, fortunately, the young people in China, they have started drinking black tea with milk.
Okay.
So, what better place than Sri Lanka, Ceylon, to get that tea?
Right.
So we see this graph going up from about 750,000 kilos about 4 years ago.
Right.
Now it's 10 million plus.
So it's a bit like carrying coals to Newcastle, isn't it?
It sounds like that.
Yes, because China has its tea.
So
they don't have black tea.
They don't have good black tea. They have good green tea.
Ah, okay. And Sri Lanka has Ceylon tea.
Ceylon tea is good black tea.
Okay, so the market there, it's been an astounding growth, hasn't it?
Very good. Very encouraging.
And right now, about 10 million kilos?
Right now, it's 10 million. That is last year. That is 2018.
Right.
So probably this year it will be a little more. And if we really concentrate, I think the exporters are doing that job very well. We should get up to 30 million within the next 3 years. Hopefully hit 40 million.
Oh, I see. So that's excellent. Would that make it the single largest market?
My projection is that China.
Right now, who is the single largest market?
Now it's Iraq at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. Do about 30 million.
We get paid all right from Iraq?
Iraq we get paid.
Okay.
Yeah. But they are economy has gone down, so the quality of the teas have the demand has deteriorated, so price-wise.
And is tea a sanctioned product or not a sanctioned product?
Iran, it's a sanctioned. Tea is not a sanctioned product anywhere in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Iran is a big market.
Iran is a big market. We used to send about 30 million. Then it came down to about 20. And now it's tea. We cannot send. We can send tea. It's not a sanctioned product. The problem is getting the funds in.
I see.
But what's happening now is, I think, most of these other countries, countries over land.
Yeah.
They send teas into Iran because people in Iran, they have to drink tea. There's nothing to stop them.
Yes. As you know, on our program, we encourage our viewers to send us questions. It's by SMS only, please, to 0772 300 305. Card coming up on your screen anytime now. And one of the first questions, or the first statements that I've received today, is that that apparently I've introduced you wrong. So let me introduce you correctly then. And our guest this evening is Mr. Lucille Wijewardena. I thought I said that, but apologies if I said it wrong. There you go. You see, you people are watching you, and they're listening. So tell me, Lucille, what are the issues that you all are facing here? You've got three types.
We have, as I told you, we have these growers, factory owners, and exporters.
Yeah.
So we'll start from the exporters. They are doing a great job, I must say.
Okay.
They have the best of packing, I think, in the world.
And they're knowledgeable on their.
They are knowledgeable. They have the knowledge for tea tasting, blending, which is the key for tea. You can't do tea without.
It's a very professional business.
Very professional business slot we have got. And then we got the factory owners, and there's a new lot of factory owners who came up during the last 20-25 years. Those are for the smallholders.
Yeah.
And they are doing quite well. They do a good job themselves. But they have some issues about funding and all that, so that's quite usual in an industry. But the real issue is at the growing level,
right,
plantation level, because we have neglected replanting. Every 35 years or 30 years we must replant the tea bush.
Well, isn't that a little bit difficult, because the leases given to these RPCs are about 52 years, is it?
Yeah, RPCs, it's 52 or 54 years. What they say is, yes, we need it for 99 years or whatever it is. Fair enough. If they
will the ministry be considering that?
I think so. The ministry will consider, but I must say that they should give a undertaking that the replanting percentage, 3% replanting every year will happen. Of course, if they can't do it, some of the plantations, they say they cannot do it because of cash flow problems. They can ask for assistance, like we give at the moment $500,000.
Well, if they can't do it, isn't it better for them to hand it over back to the ministry and then, so you can then have somebody else who's willing and who has the money, or maybe some amalgamation? Which one would you go for?
Yeah, really, if they want to sell, even at the moment, a sale took place last week.
Right.
It's a shareholder. They hold more than 50% of the shares.
Right.
So majority shares can be transferred to another buyer,
right,
who's willing to pay the price.
We've got another question. How can the sector benefit the economy in other ways? Obviously, economy is the main topic, the talk of the town, if you like.
Sri Lankan economy.
Yes, because, for example, the tourism industry has been hugely impacted after the events of 21 April. I don't know if has that impacted on the
Fortunately, we have. It has not impacted us.
Right.
Because even after the Sunday unfortunate event, on Tuesday we had the tea auction. They held the tea auction, so there was no break at all.
I see.
The activities carried on.
Okay. So apart from increasing the tenure of the leaseholder to 99 years perhaps, with making it conditional, what other issues are you facing?
Really, the RPCs provide only 25% of the teas,
Right.
green leaf or tea, made tea. The rest comes from the smallholders and the factory,
I see.
private factory owners.
Yeah.
So I think we have to entice them in whatever the way to do more replanting and infilling of vacancies.
Right. When you mean infilling, would you like to tell viewers what infilling means?
Infilling means now if you get a acre of tea,
Yeah.
you should have 5,000 bushes.
So in an acre, it's 5,000.
But now the average has come down to about half.
Oh, so there's patches of
There are patches of
land.
land,
Right.
so which is not good. You get weeds, your crop is down, that means your costs are high per kilo,
Okay.
and the workers suffer because the plucker has to walk from one bush to the other,
Right.
practically.
Yeah.
So
And also their money will depend on the amount of tea they pay.
pluck. So the over kilos, for over kilo now they get I think 40 rupees. It's
Right.
a lot of money. So
Right.
you do 10 kilos, you get 400 additional.
Right.
So if that will increase the take-home pay of the workers drastically.
And is there enough tea to pluck?
At the moment,
Yeah, for 5-7 days a week.
yeah, tea is generally plucked once a week.
Right.
Each tea bush. So what they do is really when you say good old days, whatever the days,
Right.
there's 2 leaves and a bud.
Yes.
Then
Is it still the same?
No, gradually I think 2 leaves and a bud is not economic, so it went to a 4 leaf and a bud. As long as the leaf is not coarse, that's fine. So now, of course, with this shortage of tea bushes, they tend to pluck some more coarse leaf. That is the issue.
Right. And what do you think is an optimum level you'd like to see the exports at? I know it's been around the 300 million, but what would you like it to be?
Ideally, it should be around 350 million with the current demand pattern. But more importantly, that 300 million, the quality of the teas within that 300 million should improve much more.
I see. And how do you deal with payments and so on that's due in let's say conflict areas like in Iraq and so on?
We don't have a problem with Iraq and all that. So, as I told you, our exporters their ingenuity is very good. So we don't have any issues other than Iran at the moment.
Right.
Other countries, we don't have any major issues.
No. What would you like to see happen in terms of overall issues and so on?
I would like to have 350 million kilos of high quality tea. When I say high quality, the moment also we are premium, but premium plus tea manufactured by our factories, so that our smallholders also will get a better price, because they get 68% of the price at the auction the smallholder gets. So that's about 80 to 100 rupees per kilo of green leaf,
Right.
which is quite decent.
And how's our brand doing, Ceylon tea brand? What kind of copycats are there? What are you doing about that?
Yeah, we are launching. We have started already about a year ago. Ceylon tea generic brand promotion.
Right.
So that will be launched in 12 countries.
Okay.
To start with, it will be in Russia and Ukraine, and also China this year. China and Japan, 4 countries this year.
Right.
So we are going to use the modern method of advertising, using influencers or KOLs, key opinion leaders.
Right.
So that is preferred method at the moment.
Right.
We will be using other methods as well.
We've got a question in. I think it's an important question. What's the difference between my cup of tea and the one which Her Majesty the Queen of England enjoys in the evening? Is the tea in the local market of good quality? Can a local enjoy a good cuppa?
Probably Queen enjoys a blend from one of the blenders in UK. So it will have say 20% or 40% of Ceylon tea.
Yeah.
And part will be Kenyan or Vietnamese. So that doesn't guarantee say that it's a very good tea.
Are you going to send Her Majesty a good few kilos of the finest that Ceylon tea can offer?
Of course, if that is possible, we'll be glad to do that.
HMQ,
Yeah.
Buckingham Palace, London
London.
SW1.
That's the address.
I would imagine it is. All right, excellent. Well, you've answered that question. But actually, we can have a good cup of tea in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, of course. Now we can have, because now the local exporters,
Yeah.
they do very good quality blends,
Yeah.
and they have it on the shelves
Okay.
on the supermarket. You can go through the entire range of tea.
Right. No program in which we discuss Ceylon tea, that absolutely wonderful brand, that's a Sri Lankan brand, is complete without me asking you this question. And that is, it's 150 plus years of Ceylon tea, the Ceylon tea industry.
Yeah.
And it's a premium tea. 300 million kilos being exported all around the world. It's fetching huge prices at the better supermarkets in the world. So why is it that our estate workers are living in conditions that can hardly be described as nice?
Yes, this is something that is discussed for the last so many
150 years.
Yes. So as they say, it's a mature industry. It's not a mature industry by any means.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
20 years, it keeps on changing.
Yeah.
So first of all, you must understand that when you say Ceylon tea, you connect the upcountry Indian Tamil workers.
Right.
But the quantity of tea that comes in from that sector
Yeah.
is less than 20%.
Okay.
If you take it, because they're with the mid growns and low growns of the
Yes.
companies as well.
Okay.
Probably 15-20%.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that they should live in bad conditions.
No.
Yeah. So that is now at the moment there's this program to give them a house instead of a line room.
Yeah.
But just my belief is just giving them a house will not change their life, will not uplift their life. We do something different, something more. Maybe even because they are maybe you must upgrade the line rooms as they are and give them something else like solar power, hot water, all that. Because most of the time, even this house is rented out and they live in the same line room.
Okay.
There are 50% of the time it happens that way. So I think we have to uplift them in a holistic way.
Can you not have a tea housing association where workers can go and live rather than live in a room? That's my whole point.
No, we have the plantation industry ministry has a thing called the Plantation Housing Welfare Trust.
Right.
So they are the organization who's entrusted with this task.
Yeah.
So they are supposed to do this housing part, but as I said, it should not be just housing. It should be a holistic
Indeed,
approach.
a holistic
They
approach.
do some other things also like medical care,
Right.
but it's not enough. You must.
It's an ongoing effort.
Yes, it's an ongoing effort here.
And we're running out of time, but how about how can the tea industry benefit from carbon credit?
Yes, that's a very interesting and important question, because if we can say we are a premium brand, and if we can say we are carbon neutral, that will really help our image in the world market. So we produce around 10 million tons of carbon for a year.
Right.
So but the thing is, we have to purchase certain things to make it neutral.
I see.
So that is costly. So like say solar power for factories, for workers, and there are so many other things where you can bring down the carbon footprint.
Right.
But there are other ways of doing this in a smart way, where say you go to Korea and ask a company, because they need to buy carbon credits.
Right.
So they will give us, say, 500,000 solar panels, free of charge.
Let's see.
Why should they give free of charge? Because they'll say, okay, first 2 years, carbon credits are for us. After the second year, it's yours. So we get this free set of, like that. There are so many other things, like smart burners, wood burners, which is accepted by the World Bank as carbon efficient.
Any plans to increase the number of exports to Korea?
Yes, that is something that we have in mind. In fact, we'll be going there next month also to take over the Ceylon tea brand, which was their CeylonTea.com brand.
Oh, it was owned by
a Korean company all these years, 30 years.
Oh, okay.
So at last they have decided to give it to us.
Right.
So
well, they must have been smart doing that at the beginning.
At the beginning, yes. Now they are a 5th largest company in Korea.
So this has become minute now.
Minute now, I thought.
All right. Lucille Wijewardena, thank you very much for having been on Newsline Prime. We absolutely enjoyed that. Perhaps you and your colleagues from the tea industry would care to join News First on a longer program, Face the Nation, which we broadcast on Monday nights on TV1, starting at 9:30, and that's a panel.
Yes.
And if you bring along a panel, and we can all have a good debate on the tea industry. After all, Sri Lanka's #1 brand.
That would be nice.
Okay, thank you very much for being on the program, and it's a great pleasure to have had you here.
Thank you for having me.
And that's the way it was on Newsline Prime today. Take care, have a wonderful weekend ahead of you, be safe, and of course, God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz.